Okay, one item for all of you at the top. The unemployment data released this morning show us reaching the lowest level of new claims since the beginning of the pandemic, and the moving average has been cut by more than a third since President Biden took office just 4 months ago. We know the policies the president has enacted are making a difference. Today's 4-week average of 505,000 new claims is down from 752,000 the week the American Rescue Plan was signed, and badly needed economic relief started getting out of the door to families and communities around the country. Who doesn't love a chart? So here's a little chart of the weekly unemployment claims just to show you all the trend. These numbers can be volatile, so we caution against reading too much into any single report, and obviously we're looking at trend lines over time, but the trend is clear. In addition to declining unemployment insurance claims over the president's first 3 months in office, the economy has created an average of 500,000 new jobs a month, 8 times more than the average of the 3 months prior. And this is a direct result of President Biden's vision to build our economy from the bottom up and the middle out. With that, Darlene, why don't we kick it off?
Thanks, Jen. So on the Middle East, yesterday the White House said the president had spoken to the Prime Minister, called for a significant de-escalation. The Prime Minister, in turn, said he was going to push forward with the operation in Gaza. So the question is, where does that leave the president and the administration today? And also, what happened yesterday say about his level of influence with the Prime Minister?
Well, first let me say, Darlene, that our objective, as we've talked about a bit in here, is to take every step we can through diplomatic channels, through quiet and intensive diplomacy, to bring an end to this conflict. Just to bring us back to a little historical reference here, which I lived through, many of you did as well. Back in 2014, the conflict on the ground went on for 51 days. 51 days. We are at about 10 days now. Now, every day that passes and lives are lost, Palestinian lives, Israeli lives, is a tragedy. But our approach here and our strategic approach here is to continue to communicate directly, stay closely interlocked with the Israelis, with partners on the ground, to do everything we can to bring an end to the conflict. We have seen reports of a move toward a potential ceasefire. That's clearly encouraging. Obviously, we can't get ahead of any agreements that may be brokered. But I would say that, to go back to answer your original question there, Darlene, we've now held more than 80 engagements with senior leaders in Israel, the Palestinian Authority, and across the region, either in person or by phone. Again, that our view and our approach has been to use the role of the United States in the relationships with countries on the ground to conduct our efforts quietly and through diplomatic channels.
Do you have anything on a call between the president today and LCC in Egypt?
I expect we will have a readout shortly. I can confirm they had a call. Just to remind you, part of that engagement is a reflection of what we've been talking about a bit in this briefing room, was the important role that a number of countries in the region can play, including the Egyptians, in bringing an end to the conflict. And they have an important role to play in influencing Hamas. Hence, the president had a conversation with him this morning. I expect we'll have a readout shortly.